produce more pieces per hour, and at the same time be more cost effective. Finally, if you are good with imagination, you have good creative skills, or you want to pursue more a career in academics, you can think of working in a design laboratory or working in research. So in Egypt, we don't have really so many design laboratories, no research laboratories. I think UC has one in the mechanical engineering department. But you might think about the future in the United States, Japan, or Europe, and really it's something that we need here. So if you think that you want to pursue a little bit of studies outside, get some of this knowledge that you get inside, start a research lab maybe, is something that we would like to have in Egypt. So my third conclusion for you today is you need to understand what is your set of skills, or what are you talented in, and try to match it with something that where engineering, mechanical engineering is a team game, right? And it's everywhere. Okay. So next thing I wanted to talk to you about, where I was asked, for you, if you graduate, so where is the industry going? Where is the industry in Egypt going, and where is the industry going worldwide? So, in Egypt right now, I don't know if you are well updated with that, but everyone is talking about the dollar problem. We have a problem with dollars, and we have problems with imports. There's a lot of regulations that the government is putting on imports, right? So, you want to go purchase something from outside, you want to go purchase a t-shirt from Japan or from China, you need dollars. You go to the bank, you ask them, I need dollars, you send these dollars abroad, and you get your t-shirt. Right now, there are no dollars in the bank. So you go to get the dollars, you can't find them. And then you want to import something from abroad, you can't import something from abroad. Why? Because the government is putting so much regulations on imports. So everybody's complaining. Everybody's complaining, the country's going down the drain, what are we going to do? But I'm here to tell you that this is very good news. It's not bad. Why? Because the fact that we cannot import goods from abroad is creating a gap in the market. So all the goods that were coming from abroad now, they are not coming as much, and people in Egypt, they have the same demand. So they need those products or a different kind of products. So what does this gap create? It creates a golden opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses or small and medium-sized industries to start producing and selling locally. So if you are thinking about going into industry, or if you are thinking about going into production, I really encourage you to do so. And it's the best time really to invest yourself or invest your money if you are thinking about going into production. Why? Because this is the #1 goal of the government. All these regulations that the government is putting on the dollar and on the imports is because they want to encourage the local manufacturers and the local production to be able to sell more on the local market. So if you're thinking about starting a new factory or starting a new small workshop, producing something, I think this is the best time you should do so. So talking a little bit about Middle East and Africa, I have put down here on this presentation a few notes, right? So Egypt, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Algeria, Congo, and Kenya are the biggest markets in this, biggest markets in the Middle East and Africa. So they consume the most goods, and if you are thinking about selling your product somewhere or selling your services somewhere, if you want to go work somewhere, I think you should look at these countries. They have high demand for mechanical engineers. They have high demand because they are producing a lot of goods. If you are thinking about going to Dubai, which is my second point, I say Dubai is very rich. It's a very big market, but unfortunately everyone is there already. So all the big players in the world are already there. And if you're thinking about going there, you're going to be in very high competition. There's so many, we call it red seas. There's so many sharks in the seas. So you're going to have to be competing all the time with people from everywhere around the world, which is fun. You want to compete with others, but at the same time, it's not always easy, especially if you're just starting your career, right? Emerging markets like Ethiopia, Algeria, and Morocco these countries now are trying to attract investment from everywhere. So they are trying to attract manufacturers from different places. They are trying to attract people to produce there. So they're making it very appealing, right? They are not taxing you any money. So if you go there, you don't apply taxes on you. And if you're thinking about pursuing mechanical engineering on the level of production or industry, then also look at these countries. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about Iraq, Syria, Sudan, and Libya. These countries were huge markets in the past. Right now, with all the struggles that they're going through with war and so on, and conflict, they are not something we should look at. It's not something we should look at. So, my next point. I was asked to tell you where is the industry going, or to talk a little bit to you about where the industry might be going, right? And I think I don't really have an answer to this question, because many people always, when I was younger, they used to tell me, oh, you have to look at solar panels. The solar panel business is booming. You have to invest yourself in this kind of business, because this kind of business now is booming and they need a lot of engineers. I have a lot of doubts about that. I don't think this is really smart to say so, because the markets are always changing, they're always dynamic, and things are not certain. Now, I'm going to give you an example. About 5-6 years ago, when I was still in UC, I think that the engineering department started a petrochemical department, because they were expecting that there would be a big need of petromechanical engineers on the market. A lot of companies were coming, petrochemical companies were coming to invest themselves in Egypt and the Middle East, and so they started this major, right? Now what happened last year? The price of the oil went down from $95 a barrel to $30 a barrel, which means that the companies that are selling oil don't have so much money coming in anymore. So now everyone is firing the engineers, the petrochemical engineers, and nobody's hiring petrochemical engineers anymore. So if somebody tells you, okay, go invest yourself in this, it's booming. Yeah, it might be booming today, but it's not going to be booming after tomorrow. So what are you going to do with that? I'm going to tell you what I think you should do with that in a little bit, but first I want to give you another example. I don't know if any one of you heard about the Tesla car. The Tesla car is an electric car. It doesn't have a gearbox. The newest model they have on the market doesn't have a gearbox. It has an electronic gearbox, like a computer that changes gears. So again, if you think that you studied so much in mechanical engineering and you want to do something that has to do with machine making, maybe so many mechanical parts will be obsolete in a few years. Maybe they will be replaced with an electronic part that does the job. So again, I have a question mark there. So, and the last example I have for you is solar panels. Our government in Egypt has started taking off the subsidy on electricity, and they also made it possible for investors to make electricity and sell it to the people, right? Which is a good step, but going back to the last slide about the oil, it used to make sense to work in solar energy because the price of oil is very expensive. Now the price of oil is not so expensive anymore. So does it make sense to work in solar panels? I don't think so. I don't want to say no, but I don't think so. So again, my fifth advice then is that the markets are always changing, and you need to try and be flexible. You learned a lot in mechanical engineering, and if you're still not graduated, so you want to learn more. Try to think of how you can use this set of skills that you learned and be flexible with the changes that are going to occur in the market. Don't be set in your mindset. Don't say, I'm going to do this, I'm good at this, I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. No, you can do something for 5 years and then change it. No problem. Take your skills wherever the market is going to take you. You have to be flexible. This is the most important point. So, one of the questions that I've been asked to answer today is how to use your time best at UC. And and when I was at UC, we used to worry a lot about grades. And we used to worry a lot about our GPA and about how much we have to do well in our exams. And I don't think this is very useful after you graduate. I'm not here to tell you that you should be a bad student and not study, but I think that there is mostly the biggest value is that you should target learning versus targeting grades. Target learning means that you really want to learn new material, that you go to your classes and you hear what your professors have to say, and you try and understand what they're talking about. Attendance, I think, is the most important. You hear what your professors have to say. You develop over time what we call the engineering sense. This is why I put it on the presentation. The engineering sense is something that's going to serve you in all the aspects of your life. And this is the thing that's going to serve you the most with the changing markets, right? But if you focus so much about, I'm going to have to get a good grade, I'm going to copy my homework from someone or so on, then you're going to get a good grade, but you're not going to acquire the sense that you're going to need once you graduate. So, second thing, and I'm an employer, so I employ mechanical engineers all the time. We have about 300 engineers in our factories, and I've been asked to answer the question, what are hirers looking for? So once you graduate, what are people going to be looking for in order to hire, right? So here I want to say that you are in the strong position. Meaning what? Meaning the number one fear of the employer when they are hiring someone new, or when they are hiring someone that is fresh and graduated, is that they fear once they hire this person, they're going to spend a year or two in their company, and then they're going to leave. Why? Because they're still young, they don't know what they want to do exactly. They might go in for a few months or a few years and then leave. So I'm going to invest my money and time teaching you stuff, and then at the end of the day you're going to leave me. So the number one thing is that you need to try and commit to whichever job you choose for at least 2 years. I say at least 2 years. Even if you, as I said at the beginning of my presentation, even if you don't like it so much, I think you should try and commit in order to learn as much as possible. So when you are applying